Hello, everybody, and welcome back to OMB Reviews. I am the critic who is a cynic. Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome to episode 431 of the Welcome to Asgard podcast and to the month of April's Chosen of Valhalla live stream, where I am once again joined by my amazing Chosen. And today we've got people who haven't been on in a little while. We got people who are here almost every time. And hey, it's always fun having this group of people and always great having these conversations. So we'll go ahead and get started with introducing people. We'll just go in the order that I'm seeing people. So starting off, a long time returned, finally back once again. Tina is back. Tina, how's it going?
I'm getting ready to cry. Sorry. It's so good to see all of you again. And I'm sorry. I told everybody before, when we were lining up in the back room, that if I get emotional, it's just that my neurologist said that my emotions are more on edge than they used to be. So it's not sadness, it's just being very emotional and being so happy. And I wish I could see you all better, but my vision is still I'm hoping my vision improves.
We missed you so much. It's good to have you back.
It's great to have you back talking with you.
Well, I'm lucky to be alive. I really am. I'll just kind of I'll keep it real brief. When I came back from my mini cruise in December, I was on the phone with Sharon and I got violently sick, and I mean violently. And she could not get me to respond. I was just throwing up so hard. And she called Stephanie, and Stephanie said there should be an officer living on the complex. Contact him and have him make a wellness call. So it wasn't that long later, I get a knock at the door. It's the police officer, and he said, some friends of yours wanted me to make a wellness check. And I said, I'm not feeling good. And he said, do you want to go to the hospital? I said, yeah. And I think he could hear I couldn't get my words together because he asked me, did I want to go to Jewish, which is the stroke specialist here? I said, no, take me to Suburban because that's in my network. EMS showed up. They got me to the ER. This is about 5 minutes away. I just remember them saying they were going to run a CAT scan. I remember them talking about an MRI. Everything's kind of blurry. I remember one of the doctors saying you had a series of mini strokes, and I couldn't wrap my brain around. Did they say I had strokes? I had. I remember they did an MRI because they said we want to get in your brain, see what happened. I was at the hospital for several days. Then I went to a rehabilitation center for about a week. I spent Christmas there. Was home by New Year's, and I felt very out of it and very depressed and very down and very emotional. And I want to really thank Sharon and Stephanie for helping to save my life that night, because the two of them jumped on it so quickly. I don't know what would have happened if I hadn't been on the phone with Sharon. And then she called Stephanie and said, here's what's happening. But since then, I've seen a slew of doctors. My medical bills are at the wazoo right now. I've seen neurologists. I've seen, I have a GP now. I see her about once a month. The doctor's appointments have started to slacken off because they now know what happened. When I saw the neurosurgeon, she said, did you realize you had an aneurysm? I said, no.
Oh,
And they said, well, the stroke revealed that you have had an aneurysm probably for years.
Wow.
And they said that's the reason why a lot of people drop dead from the aneurysm, that they never know that they have. They can go decades. So they did a probe. I can't think what it's called, but they ran a probe up through my arm. It was outpatient, and they ran it into my brain. And the doctor, the neurosurgeon said, It'll light up like a Christmas tree. We're going to put a dye inside your brain because we need to see how much damage has been caused. Um, and so they said, yeah, the aneurysm is so tiny. When he finally saw it, he said, we're not going to do any surgery. And when I went in for my checkup, they said, yeah, we don't want to see you again for 18 months. And then we'll do another CAT scan and make sure the aneurysm has been enlarged any. So I have to keep my blood pressure under control. I try not to stay under stress. I'm on more prescriptions than I ever thought I would be on. The Plavix, they told me take it until it's run out, and then the neurologist is not going to keep me on that. So the only medication I'll be on is something for my nerves and to keep my blood pressure down. I'm on anxiety medication, but that helps me sleep at night. And that's where I've been. Like I said, I was kind of in a dark place back in December when this happened, but now I'm feeling better because I've had so much help. Like I said, Sharon helps me with my grocery shopping. Amanda helped me do my income taxes, and she helps me with my finances. And thank God for technology.
Mm-hmm.
The stroke did affect my optic nerves, which is why my eyesight is so off. The retinal specialist said that he wants to see me again, I think, in about 2 months, but he said that some of my optic cells were damaged, and he doesn't know if they will heal themselves. But my eyesight is better now than it was in December.
Well, that's
So
good.
I
That's good.
just feel like, well, Rosie sent me a St. Lucie medal after
Oh,
I got
yeah.
sick. And she said, I know you're not Roman Catholic, but carry this with you. I carry that medal with me everywhere. And St. Lucie is for the healing of eyes and eye disorders. And so I carry that with me. And I just am trying. I think I'm in a good place now because I've had friends, I've had family. Sometimes I jump on the streams, but if I start getting too emotional, I get out of them.
Yeah.
FNT, if they start getting real loud, I can't listen because I think things that are too loud, they kind of upset me. So I have
That
to
doesn't
turn.
take very long then,
It doesn't
unfortunately.
take very long. Yeah, I'm kind of in and out, in and out. But I laugh a lot. I've managed to watch a few movies, and Amanda said she was so happy when I said I had sat through one movie. She said that makes me happy because it feels like you're trying to come back. So that's where I
Amen.
am.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, I know
Yeah.
that people have been keeping in touch with you on the Discord server, and
Yeah.
we were talking before the stream, and all I could think was because I remember when you were jumping on, I was like, oh, is there a way for me to somehow make everything bigger on my end? But unfortunately, there's no way for me to
No,
improve
no.
the. But I know there are settings in Discord to make all the text bigger to be
Yeah.
easier to read. So I'm gonna see if hopefully we can try to troubleshoot that so that way it's easier for people to reach out.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. So, yeah, I'm done. That's what's been happening to me
Okay.
since December. That's the reason why I haven't been in the streams that
Yeah.
everybody that doesn't know. So,
Yeah. Well, thank God, as you said, thank God for Sharon and for Steph especially. I remember when Steph was keeping me up to date with everything that was happening, and so just thank God that they were able to get that officer over and be
yeah,
able to help you get to the hospital.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
A lot of love being shown to you in the chat.
Oh,
Orange Chat Reviews is like Tina, and yeah. So again, it's great to hear your voice again, and it's great to
thank
have you
you.
on again.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So also joining us this month, we've got Rosetta Allen, who we were talking before the stream, and we just hit about the 4-year anniversary of since she first walked into the chat.
And almost
stole
4
the
years
hearts of
that I've
everyone.
been in Valhalla here because they started
Yeah.
Valhalla that June, so we're
That's
getting there.
right.
But
Absolutely. How you been?
crazy. I mean, this whole winter has been like absolute roller coaster dealing with family and stuff, and I've missed quite a bit of the Valhallas the last few months, actually, which is not like me at all. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And it's just been crazy dealing with. But while I'm dealing with everything from my brother losing it where he lived to medical to all this other stuff, my channel is booming. I hit 2,100 subs last night. So
Nice. Congratulations.
I'm growing in some ways. I'm struggling in others, and I am looking forward to being home and having time just to deal with me and my husband. Unfortunately, because how many things keep going on with the family and how much I have to keep taking care of people, that's not going to happen until after our anniversary, mid-June. I have been here taking care of my mom and my family since the beginning of December. I kind of miss home, you know? Orange Chat.
Yeah, I saw him put.
He's a sweetie. He really is. But
shout out to Orange Chat, the guy who's going to be, timing people out, slamming the hammer down if anyone decides to spam. But yeah, anyway.
You wrenched him, huh?
I did, yeah.
And I still can't get one. I mean, I'm just giving you crap.
It's because I don't trust you with the people who talk to you the most, because in your friendships I could see you like ban them just out of just for fun.
No. Just so one thing I don't do that crap. Now if they're on my streams, will I screw with their names and do silly stuff to them? Yes, but that's different. I won't screw around in other people's chats.
Even hunky chunky.
Look at it this way. Two of my closest friends I talk to all the time are the people who moderate over with and been moderating over with them over on Tug's channel for a long time. And do you know how we talk to each other in Tug's chat? And I behave. And I've been wrenching there like 3 years. So that should give you some clue how well behaved I am. On occasion.
On occasion, yeah. Well, it's great to have you joining us again.
You aside, it's crazy, but it's family. So you do what you have to do. And we hit, and everything was difficult this month. Easter actually fell on the anniversary of Dad passing away last year, so it kind of hit Mom really hard. And to a degree, me, but my stoic side, when I'm taking care of somebody else, my emotions kind of disappear. Yeah. Yes, you miss messing with that monkey. He still messages me or trolls me over on Twitter or Discord every so often.
Yeah, I feel like
when I do stream every so often, he shows up.
Yeah, whenever I feel like there's a higher chance than ever whenever there's a chosen stream that he'll show up for a little bit. I think it's also a better time for him. It's
a better time for him. It's also how many people that he likes to tease. Can he tease at once because we're all on panel? Think about it like a troll.
But he's like Jonah
monkey,
Wingster,
like monkey, because I would never troll people. I swear, I don't troll.
Never.
I'm sweet and innocent. I'm a good girl.
Well, great to have you joining us once again. We also have joining us today, someone actually, a big part of the reason why the stream is today was because he finally was able to get the work schedule sent to us early. And I was like, okay, we're going to have it on one of these days when he can jump on. Mr. Roy, great to have you back. How you been, man?
Pretty good.
Good.
Been working quite a lot. It just happened that this month lined up pretty good. So I was like, hey, I'll just sit in my work schedule. Hopefully we can get a day set up.
I appreciate it so much. I was like, oh well, this just makes things a little bit easier for me to figure out which would be the best one. Because and I know that K-Man was hoping to jump on, but I know that he's that basically a birthday dinner became a birthday lunch. So happy birthday to the mother of the K-Man. But hey, glad to have you back, Mr. Roy.
I appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely. I'm sure we got tons of films to go through, especially in the physical media collection.
The main reason for the crazy schedule is because I'm currently in a process of transferring within the company to a new position.
Okay.
It's a 2-year process, so it's so working extra hours and doing training, and about a couple months from now I'm going to be doing on-the-job training, which is going to be crazy. So it's a big, but I mean the pay rate's like 3 times what I make now, so
hey,
there you go.
There you go, right?
Bank a bank.
Absolutely, especially in this environment right now. Because I mean, I'm hearing every day about different, companies, starting layoffs and, shrinking and everything. So that's definitely a good place to be for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I work in the petrochemical industry, so I mean, you got to have, chemicals. So yeah, there's always work where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Roy, thank you so much for being able to jump on today.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we've also got Laura, the Model Major General Story. Short joining us. Laura, how's it going?
Hey, so happy to be here today.
Yeah.
It worked out.
I know.
Stars aligned. Everything happened. It's great to have Tina back.
Yes.
We've missed you terribly.
Thank you, Laura.
Now to find your newest.
What the heck was that?
That was my text messages. That's the way I communicate with everyone other than the phone. So sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh, don't worry. I never use voice.
I heard it.
Never use voice prompts on anything, so it can't make me jump.
Yeah, I've learned more about this.
Because it happened right as I had a message coming over to starting to read. It's like, what the crap happened?
Well, Macy's is having a great sale, they said. So there you go. Laura, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's just good to hear from you. I was about to say see you, but then I realized that's kind of insensitive. So
no, that's okay.
Do people do that a lot? Are they like, good to see you? Oh,
yeah, I'll hear them hesitate, and I'm like, look, it's just everything's blurry and fuzzy, but yeah, that's fine.
It's such a common expression. It's just, at that point, it almost becomes, okay, if you're going to try to find some other way of saying the expression, it's going to become, okay, just go ahead and say it, because you're going to try and think of something else and you're not going to be able to think of anything.
Exactly.
We're fine as long as you don't pull the bush and wave at the blind person. I mean,
yeah, exactly. And see, I'm trying to be careful. I'm looking at the controls as best I can. So I'm trying to make sure I don't hit the little camera button. So, or anything like that, where I'm like, okay, I have no idea where I shut myself off. So, yeah, I'm just trying to stay away.
Yeah, I think. And you're like, oh no.
Okay, somebody smack Orange Chat for that one.
What did he say?
All right, Orange Chat says, I could do jokes, but I can't see the point. Oh, snap.
Oh, good grief.
Here come the vision related.
Dan, I'm going to get you for that one.
I think the good grief of Tina just smacked that one down, so.
I haven't lost my snarkiness, but no, Laura.
Well, you better not. You got to be you.
But no, Laura, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And it's so nice to see all of you.
I was actually recently in a movie, and I screamed out. I was like, Tina would hate this so much.
What movie was that?
Renfield.
Oh, Amanda and her husband just went to see it last night, and she said Nicolas Cage was so good.
He was, but they took the original Dracula movie, and they edited Nicolas Cage and the other actor into the classic Dracula movie.
I know what you're talking about. Okay, so instead of Bela Lugosi, we'd see Nicolas Cage.
Right. I was like, I just can't see Tina enjoying it.
I'd have to see that and say, okay, I could deal with that, but yeah.
I think the fact that it's Nicolas Cage probably makes it a little less, bad as it could be. But yeah, soon I remember Laura had been telling me about that too, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel like that could be. That would be something that Tina would point out and be like, "Oh, why did you have to go ahead and take the classic?" And
oh yeah,
I mean, it was amusing, but I was just like, "Ooh, I don't know, why'd they have to do that?"
Yeah, when she texted me last night, all she said was if she and her husband had gone to see a movie, and I said, "Oh, I forgot to ask you what you were seeing," and she said Renfield, and she said, "Yeah, it actually wasn't bad, but this was a stupid time of the year to release it."
Yeah. That's what everybody was saying. It's like, what is the thinking?
Yeah.
You release the horror movies for either Halloween or Valentine's to scare the girl into his arms.
Right. I don't know. But anyway.
Those are the traditions.
Those are the most common.
Yeah, but Laura, you're absolutely right. I would have been like, ooh, don't know about that.
Oh man,
that's so good to hear Tina's laugh again.
It is. It really is. And
even if she laughs at us, and Orange Hat does say much love to you after his joke.
Oh, Orange Hat, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm still gonna torture him for that joke. I'm just saying. It might be my excuse to torture a friend, but who knows?
So before we jump into what everyone's been watching or things that people want to talk about for this month, I did also just want to double check and see how everyone's like timing is going to be, just to make sure anyone who might have to leave a little early, I can, try to make sure that I, basically go about the order of who we talk to in a specific way. So is anyone needing to cut out early by any chance?
I probably will leave after I get finished because I get tired kind of easy, so I don't want to wear myself out.
Okay. Anyone else?
I never know the situation around here. Things could go right any moment. So.
Is your gardener mowing today?
Oh, the gardener got a helper, so the gardener's like done like super fast now.
Nice.
Oh wow!
No more idling mower?
No, life changing.
Good.
It's just life changing.
Oh my god!
Well, I feel like that's a feat in and of itself.
Absolutely.
No more dogs dancing at the back door. Like, I've got to go right now.
I need to go bark. Oh wow!
I gotta go get that gardener.
All right. Well, cool. With that, then we'll go ahead and get started then with Tina. So Tina, anything? Obviously you were able to tell us the things as they've been going on the last few months. Is there anything else that you were wanting to talk about? Maybe some of the movies that you were able to be able to get through, or anything like that?
I have actually started trying to watch movies again.
Mm-hmm.
At the start, it was very difficult because I would always end up crying because I wasn't seeing every detail like I'm used to.
Yeah.
I tried to watch part. My brother has it downloaded in our what used to be Google Plays on YouTube now. I tried to watch part of The Right Stuff because that was always one of my favorite movies. And I think I saw it about 12 times theatrically. And I got through the prologue, and even before they were trying to break the sound barrier, I was like, I can't look at it anymore, and I had to turn it off. And it was like, I know it starts out, and Mr. Roy, I think you've seen the movie. I know in the prologue when they're getting ready to try to break the sound barrier, there's a black and white portion, and then it jumps all over into color. And the black and white was so hard for me to see. I started crying, and so I was like, I can't do this right now. And so I turned it off, and I do look at YouTube because I can kind of make out who everybody is or what their logos are. But then I decided Easter Sunday, well, I'm going to try to delve into some movies. So I actually watched The Bible in the Beginning, which is a movie John Huston made back in 1966. I always watch that every Easter. Even though there are some very dark spots in it, I still could visualize in my mind, I know what's going on. Mm-hmm. I know this is the creation of Adam. I know the serpent's in the tree. I know that the people are screaming for help as the flood waters are coming around them. I know what's going on in Sodom and Gomorrah, and thankfully some of that is dark because a lot of it is impression only. You're kind of guessing at what's happening. Anyway, so I'm like, okay, I'm glad this is dark. So I looked at that all the way through, and with some pauses, I watched the 10 Commandments all the way through with some pauses. My 10 Commandments, third favorite movie of all time for me. And the other night, I kind of got in a mood. And I said, I want to watch something, and it needs to be in black and white because I need to see how much my optical cells are operating. So I watched Citizen Kane, which of course is in black and white. But Greg Toland's cinematography is so sharp. I could make out stuff. It was just like, I could see Rosebud going up in the furnace at the end of the movie. And it's like, it's so sharp. and I know it's not my imagination. It was like my eyes were picking it up, and I was like, this is why Greg Toland is still one of the greatest cinematographers of all time. So I sat and looked at it, and it was like there were little things that I could listen to that I wasn't necessarily seeing visually, but they were really hitting me. And that movie always gets me on such a visceral level. It has since when I first saw it when I was like 12 years old, and I said, oh my God, so this is what movie making is.
Yeah.
And so I sat and watched it, and when I texted Amanda and I said, guess what I did today? And I told her, and she said, I just told Ben, that's her husband. She said, I just told him, and I'm so happy for you because you're just day by day, you're getting back to normal. I know you can't see everything clearly, but you're trying.
Yeah.
So I looked at Citizen Kane, and then the other night, I even started registering stuff back on my letterbox again. I got in there. And
I got that pulled up right now.
Yes, and I'm like, if I don't hit the wrong button, I'm fine.
Yeah. Well, I'll know, because if I see a movie like 10 Commandments get a half star, I'll be like, okay, I need to, be like, hey, by the way, you might need to update your 10 Commandments review because I'm pretty sure you don't have a half star.
Oh yeah, that should be that should be.
Oh, it isn't. I'm just saying I'll be able to let you know when I see something.
Okay,
I'm like,
yeah. If you all see something like, if anything like, the 10 Commandments or something like that pops up, and it's like, why does it have a half a star? Yeah. That's when I'm always afraid of that I'm going to hit the wrong thing. So it's like, if I'm not sure, I'll stay away from it. But I even looked at Alfred Hitchcock's Shadow of a Doubt. Mm-hmm. Which I have seen, I don't know how many times, but I watched it again. And a couple of YouTubers have posted some behind the scenes on Shadow of a Doubt. I already knew if anyone asked Alfred Hitchcock, what's your favorite movie of the movies you've made? He always says Shadow of a Doubt. And he actually filmed it in Santa Rosa, California. He actually filmed it there, not in Hollywood. So most of the sites that you're seeing in the movie were filmed on location in this small town. And a lot of the extras in the movie were actually citizens of the town. So that's the reason why they might come off kind of awkward or unsure. He wanted real people.
Yeah.
And I love that one of the behind the scenes said that when Uncle Charlie is coming into town, he's on a train, the smoke that's billowing up is blacker, and it's like this evil is coming into the town, and it's getting ready to envelop all the innocence in this town, and it's getting ready to envelop his niece Charlie, who is the one who finds out his secret. And I love that. But I highly recommend it. I mean, it's not like what you would expect, like if you see Psycho or Vertigo or Rear Window, but it's sort of the story of how innocence just gets swallowed up in something innocent, in something evil, and you kind of wonder, will they be able to get that innocence back?
Yeah.
And my mother and I remember we discussed Joseph Cotton plays Charles. That's what his sister calls him, Charlie. We kind of find out how he ended up the way he is. And it's almost like a throwaway scene if you're not paying attention to it. But once you hear it, you're like, that's how he developed into what he was.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like if you listen to Norman's little conversations with Janet Leigh, and he says little lines like, well, boy's best friend is his mother. And if you pay close attention, you realize, oh, okay, well, he's close to his mother.
Tina, I'm so terrible, but when you said all that, what I fixated on is, so they're real people, and yay, actors aren't real people.
yeah, exactly. And that's probably what Hitchcock was thinking, I don't have to deal with these actors. So
sorry, my brain is twisted, and that's where I took it.
Now Teresa Wright, if you've ever seen Mrs. Miniver with Greer Garson and Walter Pidgeon, She plays Mrs. Miniver's daughter-in-law, and I think she won a Best Supporting Actress Oscar for that. The other movie you might know her for, she was way older. She played when Christopher Reeve goes to find out more about Jane Seymour's character in Somewhere in Time.
Oh, I love that movie.
The lady who plays the assistant who takes care of everything, that's Teresa Wright.
Okay. Because, yeah, I remember bits that I haven't seen that. God knows when. I don't think I remember most of it, but I know she was obsessed with him as a friend after that. He was her best friend for years. She named one of her sons after him.
Oh, wow.
In fact, actually, her twins were named Chris and Johnny after Reeve and Johnny Cash, who she considered her best friends.
Wow.
So I remember bits of that because it became such a thing. She adored him after that role and said he was the sweetest person she'd ever met.
I can just imagine. But yeah, if you see the scenes like when Christopher Reeve first comes to the hotel or wherever it was, and she's like, oh, I take care of her things. I took care of her in her final years. That's Teresa Wright, but she's way older, of course, than she was in Shadow of a Doubt and Mrs. Miniver, but that's what you would know her from. Joseph Cotton, who plays Uncle Charlie, he used to work with Orson Welles in the Mercury Theater. Of course, he was in Citizen Kane, Shadow of a Doubt, Magnificent Ambersons. I watched Joseph Cotton from like his younger years all the way up until he was doing bad TV movies on ABC. And you're like, where did your career go wrong? Oh, he's also in Hush, Hush, Sweet Charlotte.
Okay.
That's right. I'm not going to give that away. That is such a great movie. But he's in that.
Nice.
But anyway, yeah, so that's what I've kind of started watching, just trying to ease my way back into things because I can't look at stuff and get emotional because I'm not seeing everything that I ought to. Mm-hmm. And that the colors, it's like I can delineate like an outline between, I know where people are, but the colors still kind of merge sometimes. So, I mean, with the Ten Commandments, I know that movie practically by heart. So it's like, yeah. But, yeah, just little by little, I don't know who all I'm trying to see. I think
I can highlight some people in the chat so that way.
Is that Keck 44?
Yeah, Keck 44 is here, and let me just go back a little bit because we had
Zach's,
let's see, Father Luca was here, and he said Tina is back with a heart.
Oh, Luca, thank you. I see Soul Assassin.
Yeah, Rob D said welcome back, Tina.
Thank you.
We also had JKD Buck 76 coming in and saying hello. Let's see. We also had Alex McCarthy.
Alex, oh, sweetie. Hi.
Oh, sweet. Yes. And I was gonna say he actually has a good movie opinion here. He says 10 Commandments in 4K. I own it and it's glorious. Looks like it was made yesterday.
Oh my God. DeMille would be so happy to hear that.
When did he get good taste in movies?
I know, right? It's just so unlike Alex to have a good take.
Tina has inspired his good taste.
Oh, thank you.
Apparently, because that's just like insanely crazy to have him say something positive about a good movie. I mean,
it's not common. It's definitely
we
not
love
common.
You, boy. I'm not saying this maliciously. We love you.
Also, I love the way.
I think I see Nathan.
Yeah, Nathan's there. And Bruce, I love the way Restream transcribes the emojis in the YouTube chat. So Bruce got very excited, and so he had the waving pink hand is how it's described. It says, "Hi, Tina, waving pink hand, waving pink hand." So he did like 1,000 of them.
Oh.
So Bruce, very happy to see you here.
Thanks, Bruce.
Let's see. Nathan Slay also says, "I don't know if you could read this, Tina, but you are awesome, and you're always in my thoughts. I'm rooting for you to pull through."
Thank you.
Soul Assassin says, Tina's back. Very excited.
Well, I'm gonna try my best. I mean, I wasn't even sure I could sign on today with you until I saw the link, and I was like, okay, let me click on it and see what happens. And I'll take it from there. But no, and everybody, it's a slow process. One of the neurologists said most stroke victims, it takes them about a year to fully recover. And I'm continuing to look ahead. I've already booked a 3-day cruise for next year.
Yes.
Atta girl.
Good.
That is
Get
what
back
you do.
and do what you love because you deserve it.
Exactly. It's a friend of mine who is a travel agent. She does actually she's on a girls cruise right now, but she does a girls cruise every year. And she's booked a couple of my cruises, and she was able to find me an accessible balcony cabin. So if I'm still using my walker, I'll be on complete level ground. The cabin is near the elevators. She sent me a video of the ship, and I could kind of make it out, but I think the ship would be maneuverable enough that I can find my way.
Nice.
So if my vision's, not overly improved, but I can't. When I first got home, like I said, I was in a dark place because I was like, what am I going to do? Am I going to sit on the sofa and just look at my 4 walls and go to doctor's appointments? And that's all I could think. And I mean, my brother called up one night and he said, I just wanted to let you know how much you're loved.
Oh.
And like I said, he's used up all his sick time and vacation time and family leave just trying to take me to my appointments, and until he ran out. Wow. And I was like, okay, I've got to try to help him out because I know he's stressing. And when a detective that was retired, me and him have been friends forever, and he sent me birthday wishes, and I told him what had happened, and he said, Tina, let me reach out to a lieutenant on the department and let them know what's going on. And the next thing I knew, the police department said, you are still part of the police family. Never forget that. And the next thing I knew, I had the chaplain and a couple of the detectives took me to some of my doctor's appointments. And that helped out so much because that relieved a lot of my brother's stress. And a couple of the appointments I've even made on my own. I hit the right button on Lyft and Uber and was able to request them. And I knew the building that we went to. If I got on the elevator, I would hold my phone up and just ask someone, hey, am I going to the right suite? Is this the right floor? They would help me out. So I've made like 3 doctor's appointments by myself. And it feels good.
Good. I like it, and it should feel good.
It'll make me feel all weepy. I'm so glad.
And I had to, because this is the first thought that popped into my head, because this is just how, I don't know how my brain works, but is this the brother yeah, thank you. Is this the brother who has terrible taste in movies?
Sometimes he does.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Odin. You walked right in.
That's the reason why we've got all the Star Wars movies.
Because the Voodoo collection, I remember always hearing about my brother's Voodoo collection. So I just wanted to say, is this the same?
It's the same one.
Yeah.
He's been when our baby sister called up and she said, Antonio has really surprised me. And I said, Shanta, he has surprised me too. Because, my mother did punch him out one time because he got mouthy. He made her mad. And so I was like, she just got out of that wheelchair and punched him.
Oh my gosh.
But I was like,
woman after my own heart. I mean,
that was our mother.
Rest I know a couple of dozen kids that could use a good punching.
It was just like, it was so quick, and I was like, don't nobody ever mess with her. But he really, I think it scared him. I know it scared my baby sister because when she called up, we talked for 4 hours on the phone, and she kept saying, because she hasn't gotten back to Kentucky yet, but she was just like, I need to get to Kentucky to see you for myself. And I'm like, I know it really scared her. So my nephew even called me one day. I thought it was my brother, and he said, I don't know whether to be insulted or not. And I said, well, you sound like a man now, not a little kid.
That was you trying to save face there, right?
Yes. But yeah, I think it's brought us all closer together. But I mean, I'm glad that, like the neurologist said when I visited her, she was like, well, I don't want to say the stroke was a good thing. We would never say that, but the stroke did show that you had the aneurysm. Yeah. And now we know it's there. And now we know we can monitor it, because so many people just one day they fall dead. And when people say they died from an aneurysm, everybody's like, where did that come from? So they said, we know it's there. Yeah. So we're going to keep an eye on it. But yeah, as long as I keep my blood pressure low and everything, and it's getting nicer. It's going to rain today, but it's getting nicer out. So I'm going to try to take my walks within my what I call my safe zone, just walking around the complex a little bit and then coming back. And yeah, just it's just a day by day process at this point. Nice. So getting on here, this is another step in me improving, that I can kind of see where everything is, and I'm like, okay, good.
It's like getting back on a bike, right? It's just
getting back on a bike. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not going to stay on long because unfortunately, I've started going. I'm not a night owl much anymore. I find myself going to bed early, and I'm like, oh gosh. But I think things just kind of tire me out sometimes. So, and they just want me to keep getting rest and everything. So, I'm not going to stay on. I'm glad to see
rest. We all love you, and we're so glad to see you.
I'm so glad that I could come on today, and wish us well next week. It's Derby next Saturday.
That's right.
And I am going to try my best to get up early to see King Charles's coronation, because that may be the one coronation I get to see in my lifetime. So I don't want to miss it, because it'll be very historic. So,
Nathan says we love you, Tina.
Oh, Nathan, thank you.
And Father Lucas said that he is offering up masses for you. And so, yeah, a lot of love shown to you.
You have had and will always have me and my mom's prayers over here. We're sending you every bit we can ever since this happened.
Thank you. Yeah, this is I'll end it with this. Take care of yourselves. Keep your blood pressures down. Go to a doctor on a regular basis. I know I sound like I'm preaching,
I think you just told me to avoid my brother. I mean,
but no, get yourselves taken care of. Go to regular checkups and everything, and just cherish what you have, because I could have lost so much, and I'm glad to be here. I'm glad I could be on here for a little bit. So thank you all.
We're glad to have you back, and we're glad to have you here.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get off here before I start bawling.
Okay, I'll do the bawling for you when you're done.
Well, you have a good one, Tina. Thank you so much for jumping on.
All right, thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
All right.
Let me try to find my way out of here. Okay. All right. All right.
Oh,
okay.
Lord.
There we go.
I'm gonna turn on her camera.
No, I mean, it's such a wonder that we have Tina around. It really is. And, you guys know I've gone through so much stuff, and she's been so nice and supportive the last few years as I'm going through everything. And now even being able to be here a bit for her while she goes through it, it just feels right.
Yeah. And there's also something, I was looking at the letterbox and just seeing, November, and then all of a sudden it's on until April. It's also something where it's good to see her being, going back to doing those things that she loves so much. And then hearing about the cruise, especially, very, very exciting.
Well, it gives her something to shoot for, something
Absolutely.
to. Yeah, it's nice to have something planned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And thank you everyone in the chat for sending the kind words and well wishes and all the love. Before moving on to our next chosen member. The Happy Plague Doctor had sent a $5 super chat saying, "Hey Odin, have you seen Attack of the Doc? It's really good. Never heard of Attack of the Show before. I feel like I really missed out. I'm actually in the process of watching it right now. I'm about halfway through it. It was available. I still had some extra money on a Google Play gift card, and so I was able to actually buy it to support Chris Gore. Shout out to Chris Gore. And I was able to, watch about half of it. And it's the documentary is very good. It's very well put together. But yeah, I feel the same way where it's like, I never watched G4. I'd never really heard of them before or Attack the Show. And just seeing all that, it's like, I didn't realize Olivia Munn got her start there. And just, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. So Happy Plague Doctor. Yeah, it's really good. Can't wait to get the rest of the way through it. How's everyone doing? Time-wise, everyone's doing okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well,
I got tissues
I know that
close by.
I know that Laura sometimes gets called away at a moment's notice. So, Laura, what you want to talk about?
Oh, cool. Thanks. Can you hear me okay? I'm trying a new headset. So.
Yeah, I can hear it.
So this way I can keep my phone plugged in, right? So if the battery drain isn't an issue. So there we go.
Nice.
Wow, that was nice. Nice we got hooked up with Tina again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's she's on the Discord, but it's just different hearing her voice. So
absolutely,
that's good. Well, I start off, I guess, with like one of your favorite movies recently is The Covenant by Guy Ritchie.
Absolutely.
Wow. It's just I feel like this is just such a big step, in development for him. And so many of his movies are kind of tongue-in-cheek and, more of a comedy action type movie, where this was definitely intense. I don't know if he's done a solid drama and a war drama too. But one of the scenes that really stuck with me afterwards was when Jake Gyllenhaal was having the flashback scene, where you saw kind of like his perspective as he was injured.
Yeah.
A lot of the scenes, the way they were filmed, like really kind of stuck in my memory afterwards.
Oh, it was very well shot, very well put together. And again, as you said, right, Guy Ritchie has really been able to hone his craft, especially over the last couple of years. I feel like he's, since 2019, especially, right, with The Gentleman, I feel like that's kind of like where a lot of people kind of, at least for me, I'm drawn to that, saying, okay, yeah, this is like peak, modern Guy Ritchie. And then everything he's done really since then, right, outside of Disney, of course, has just been, absolutely phenomenal. And it's been really cool to see him take on this much more dramatic story.
Can't blame him for that. Disney makes everything worse.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I'm like, I don't know how much of that was actually him versus how much of it was just Disney, taking control.
Yeah, there was the one thing I didn't understand was there was a scene when they were trying to get back to the base. He was standing at the bottom of the hill, and there were two guys at the top of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why he didn't point his gun at them. I don't know if he was waiting to see if. I guess you can't just assume everybody in the area is not Taliban.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. What's happening here? Why is he not pointing his gun at them? And I was like, well, I guess there's people all over the place, and you can't really tell a Taliban person from somebody just walking around with a gun to protect themselves. So
yeah, it's just a different world, different culture. Yeah.
And then I started thinking about it. I was like, that's really interesting that he put that ambiguity in there. That it's not just I'm running across the field trying to get back to the base and I'm shooting anybody who comes at me. It's that, I don't know who these... It kind of ratcheted up the tense level. The tension where it's like, oh, he doesn't know who these people are. Everybody he comes across.
Yeah.
It could be somebody just making their way across the desert, or it could be somebody who's out to kill him.
Oh, yeah. Like the little stops along the way as they're going through the lands, right, to get supplies. Yeah, you don't know what they're gonna react to, and who's, because also too, like there's the people who are very pro Taliban. There are others that are very anti-Taliban, and they all have their different stories as to why. And just again, I love stories like that where there's no clear like one-sided agenda. Like unless the agenda is, hey, there were some really good people who were Afghani who were interpreters. It's like, that's not really much of an agenda. I mean, that's more of just a, hey, right, there are these, good soldiers and there are these good people, interpret. So I love that. I love that he was able to do that. It's not easy, I think, these days to tell a story about things like this and not get involved.
And I was going to say, I know so much military, and that ambiguity is one of the biggest parts of being at war, is always wondering who's an enemy. I don't want to hurt a civilian. I don't want to hurt an innocent bystander. Can I trust them? Just because this person is dressed as a civilian or just because this person is young, can I trust them?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a constant fear. It's one of the things that haunts a lot of them when they come home that I hear the stories of all the time.
Yeah.
So that's an important part of what it is to be a soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even Ahmed himself, I mean, he seemed pretty straightforward at the beginning, and then halfway through the story, you find out he's got quite a backstory himself.
Yeah.
That puts his, his trustworthiness in doubt. So I like the complexity of the story. Like we've talked about on Discord, the sound design, the music. I don't know who does his music, but he needs more recognition for sure.
Absolutely. Let's see if I can pull that
the
up.
Acting. Yeah, like it was just a full package of. I don't know why I'm not hearing more about this movie though. It's weird. Probably the subject matter.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not a very, Hollywood friendly subject, I would assume.
Yeah, and no one's going to see it, sadly, right? And I think a lot of it's for that, and then I also think the marketing is a big thing too, because the film's really not been marketed all that well, sadly. And I think that's, been a problem with most of his movies, because even though some of them have been able to find some success, it's only because there are people who are really hardcore Guy Ritchie fans who are like, oh, Guy Ritchie has a new film, I want to go see that, versus the actual, oh, we're relying on marketing. But his composer is Chris Bensteed. And this guy, he's been with him for a while. He's did The Covenant, Operation Fortune, Wrath of Man, and The Gentleman. And I think the scores for all of those movies were phenomenal. I think the opening to Operation Fortune, I said that's the only thing this movie is missing, right? The opening to Operation Fortune, all the other films had great openings. Wrath of Man, probably one of the best of all the films that he's done more recently. But the Covenant score, right, didn't have an opening sequence in the same way as his other movies, but the score was just great.
It did seem like with the Covenant, they're trying to do a little bit of traditional music mixed in there, especially when they're going across the desert to the base. Yes. It seemed like they were mixing some stuff in there. I wish my daughter was with me because she picks up on that kind of stuff. But yeah. Nice. I got to see what else he's going to put out. It's very exciting to see what he's going to do next.
Yeah.
So, I actually saw quite a lot of stuff since the last time I've been on, but one of the other movies that I really want to talk about was the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Okay.
I found it. I was very impressed because I just was going for a fun popcorn flick, and it started off with the cast thanking the audience for coming in and seeing the movie.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and Chris Pine is just pretty likable, despite his murder of the captain.
I always say that wasn't him because he acted the way it was written well.
Yeah, I mean he did everything he could with the role, which is all an actor could really do. So.
Yeah, and that's what I got the feeling with this movie. I feel like all of them, especially I was surprised. Michelle Rodriguez. Mm-hmm. Is that her name? Michelle Rodriguez?
Yeah.
I was, she just was kind of like quiet and angry through most of the movie, but I was really impressed with her performance. I mean, it's hard to play that role and get across like emotion, but she played kind of a heartbroken woman, and you just had so much empathy for her. It was really interesting.
But it was more like a quiet performance, like just not a whole lot of talking, I'd imagine.
Yeah, there's a great relationship between her and Chris Pine, and I thought just everything about the movie was very well done. It was funny. There were some hardcore people that were sitting in the theater with me that really enjoyed it too. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, Hugh Grant's in it too. So I mean,
yeah, not one of his better performances. I mean, he was fine, but he kind of plays a jerk. He's not, not the funny, lovable guy like he normally is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he played himself.
Like he normally does, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I meant when he plays a jerk.
Yeah. They had one of the details that they had in the movie that just kind of caught my eye was, they have in the fantasy movie, they have the obligatory map scene. It's like you're here and you're going over here, and they had done it in like a cross stitch, like someone had actually cross stitched the map. Which,
oh wow!
I was like, that looks really neat. I like that. It's the small little details where they could have just done it on a computer, and just kind of half A-word it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Of all the words, ass is the one that I always like to say. Well, it's in scripture, so
okay. They didn't half-ass it.
Yeah.
I always try not to say too many words on your channel because I know which ones I say. Like the one I just muted myself during when you said you granted it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I didn't know the various references that were going on, but the people behind me, every once in a while, laugh and whisper, just like, "Oh God, they said that such and such," and I'm just like, I wish I understood what they were enjoying because it sounds like they're having a good time back there.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, I've heard good things about this, and it's not really. It did a lot better at the box office than anyone expected, but still not enough because they spent probably a little too much on it.
Yeah, well, they've got a lot going on there. There's a character who showed up briefly, kind of in the middle, who kind of a Chad character, but he but yeah, they definitely got a lot to work with for another movie, so that's
okay.
Good,
I love when descriptors are used with oh yeah, it's like a Chad. I just love that that's a thing now because all you can do is think about people named Chad. And you're like, yeah, no, they're a Chad.
Yeah, kind of fits.
I feel sorry for my niece Karen though.
Oh no.
She had the name long before it was adapted that way. That's just it's
with
not
those
her
though,
fault.
I feel like it's normally
not her fault.
I feel like normally it's the opposite with that one because for Chads, I feel like it's more people saying, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." Whereas for Karens, the people say, "Oh, but I know Karen and she's great."
It's a famous. I think it's a Snickers commercial where the lady comes up and gives the lady a Snickers, and she's like, "I'm sorry, I called you Karen," and she said, "But my name is Karen." And she goes, "I'm sorry, your name is Karen," and gives her another Snickers. Oops, sorry.
That's great.
That's great and terrible at the same time, which is always more amusing. I mean, sorry, Dark Side coming out. I don't.
The only other thing that I'm watching is my guilty pleasure. This series, not TV series. What do you call it? A series of shows?
Well, I guess TV or streaming series. Yeah.
Yeah, streaming series. It's called Shameless. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Let me see
my
if
goodness.
I can.
Lord have mercy.
I think I've heard of this one before. Yeah, this started off on Showtime, right?
Oh, maybe.
With Emmy Rossum.
I don't know from where it originated. But that's my guilty pleasure show. It's just it should be called Shenanigans instead of Shameless because it's just nonstop. I think she's this 21-year-old is raising her 6 brothers and sisters. Her father is William H. Macy, and he's an alcoholic, so he just he stumbles around, the show and causes issues and problems, and then just a range of kids from different ages and all getting in trouble. One of them is a pyromaniac, so he's always letting stuff on fire.
Nathan, holy crap. No, a very dumb Karen. Get that one correctly. Oh my god.
Yeah.
No,
she asked me how to spell orange.
Yeah, Joan Cusack is the reason I started watching it. She plays what's the father's name?
William H. Macy, Frank Gallagher.
Frank Gallagher. She's Frank's kind of love interest. And she just steals the show, of course, because she's Joan Cusack.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really solid. I think there's 15 seasons too, so I got a lot to watch.
Yeah, I mean this thing has been on. Yeah, because it started in 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Holy crap!
Frank will come by every once in a while and grab the youngest kid and go out in the street and beg, put a sign, injured veteran needs cash,
Oh my goodness! Wow.
He walks up to cars and half the people are like, "Frank, stop it! Frank, go home! Frank, take that kid back to the house!"
Oh no!
Because he spends his entire life trying to scam people in the neighborhood. So.
Dang.
Oh, Lord.
Goodness me.
I have talked a lot. So.
Anything else that you were watching or got to watch?
I mean, I think we've talked about a lot of stuff on the streams and in Discord.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Renfield was fine.
Yeah.
Just the Aquafina stuff was ridiculous, but.
Yeah, and did it just take over most of or like a larger portion of the film that it probably should have?
Yeah, I mean, her being a 5'1" cop trying to beat up 6'5" guys is kind of ridiculous. Oh, dang, Silence! I saw Silence, and I think
that's right. That.
Yeah. Wow.
What'd you think?
Everyone should watch that movie.
Yeah.
It was a classic. I mean, I've heard about the movie, but wow.
Yeah. It's not an easy one to get through too, because it's a longer film, but it's a Scorsese film that a lot of people just haven't watched.
Yeah. Just thinking about it now, it's kind of bringing up emotions.
Oh yeah.
Difficult to watch.
Yeah, I remember the first time. I think I mentioned this on stream. The first time I watched it, it was later at night, and so I ended up like actually falling asleep during it. But I remember everything I had watched up to that point. I was like, I really enjoyed it, so I know it wasn't boring me because I was enjoying it when I was watching it. So when I finally was able to watch it again, I was awake the entire time, and I was like, how did I fall asleep the first time? I was like, I don't understand, because it was just that powerful.
Yeah, lots of great behind-the-scenes interviews with Scorsese and the actors, and the prep that they did and the research, that, especially under Garfield. You know, way more respect for him as an actor after seeing all he learned all of the Jesuit prayers, and
that's right.
Really did a deep dive for that movie. So
yeah,
that's a good one to end on, because that if I made a list of movies that religious friends of mine should see, that would definitely be near the top.
Oh, for sure, no doubt about it. I mean, and it's interesting because it's one of these adaptations, because Scorsese's kind of known for this. He does adaptations. He did this, and then he also had done, in his, was it the 70s, I think he did The Last Temptation of Christ. And they're, so like they're based off of books, and the books are always known for being more controversial as far as like how they were received. Whereas if you look at the film version of Last Temptation of Christ, it's really not, like, for me, when you know what kind of movie and what kind of story it is, where it's, no, this is not presenting you scripture, this is presenting to you kind of like scriptural fiction, then you understand a little bit more. Same thing I think with this one too, right? Some of the controversy around it was how it seemed to imply certain things about that, the Jesuit priests and apostatizing from the faith. But the way the movie ends, you're like, oh, I think Scorsese did something here that I don't think the book did. That definitely leaves things more, not as controversial, I guess.
I've really needed that ending. I mean, I think most people in that situation, if you had other people being tortured, if I was being tortured for my beliefs, that's one thing. But I mean, you have people who are of your same faith, and they're suffering because of you. I mean, that's a different level. I can understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you'd live with yourself. But
yeah.
That's
why I love how he portrays that battle, and I think the way he ends it though is very intriguing. Even though it came out a while ago, but I don't want to spoil how it ends, because I think it's powerful. It's the final last image you see. You're like, oh, that's makes me now think about things.
That's what I assumed. I just assumed that's what was happening. It was Yeah. I think we're communicating without saying anything here.
Exactly. I think I get what you're laying down.
I'd hate to spoil it for anybody who wants to see it, because it is long, and it's very intense, and makes you think a lot about what you would do in that situation. So.
And features Adam Driver in a great role that is not Kylo Ren, and it's also great to see that.
Driver's problem was never Driver; it was the crappy role he took.
Oh yeah, I mean, because he was great. Like, everything he's done a great job with, even when the writing hasn't been very good.
He was even good in 65. There was so much potential there. I mean,
absolutely.
It's just crappy CGI dinosaurs. What are you going to do?
Plus all those freaky Raylos stalking him and his wife.
Goodness, yeah.
God.
Yeah, so many just weird
things.
Like,
whether or not you like the Disney crap or not, there's no excuse to doing that to somebody.
I don't get it, man. I'm not his type, and he's not my type, but he's not that attractive of a guy. I mean, I don't get it.
I don't think there's a long list of people that everybody talks about being the most handsome men, and I'm like, they're plain.
He's got unfortunately large ears also, so.
It's not that he's ugly. He's not. It's that I don't see him as this stunning, handsome man people portray him as either.
I mean,
it is in the eye of the beholder, so you know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, he is very.
I never got all the obsession people have with people like Pitt and Clooney in them either. They're not that attractive.
Yeah. I mean, the driver does have kind of a manliness about him. You know?
I think that might be it.
That I will admit is true. He is muscular.
Some people are drawn
he is
to
tough,
that.
And he is strong, and that is something that a lot of women are drawn to.
Yeah,
but I don't think it always...
the shirtless Kylos is, I think, what probably sent a lot of them off the edge, because it's like, oh goodness, there's always gonna be some that are gonna look at that and be like, oh, and it's like, come on now.
It's just muscles. It's just muscles, people. Maybe it's the ex-wrestler in me. I don't swoon just seeing a guy with muscles. Because most of those guys that I knew with muscles back then were idiots. I mean,
wait, what was that? What was that, Laura?
Oh, you think they could have given him a spray tan or something before that scene? He's very
That's true.
Yes, because I'm trying to say this nicely because I don't want to insult him because I don't think he's a bad guy, you know. But the scenes I've seen him in where he's done the shirtless or the small shirts and stuff, give him a spray tan because he's almost as pasty as this albino girl. I'm just saying. And it's nothing against him. Nothing against him. It's not a malicious statement.
And as General Wakes just says, are we talking about Ryan Reynolds? Yes.
No. Reynolds isn't quite that pasty.
Is he pasty? I never noticed.
Yeah.
A little, not as bad as Driver.
Oh, yeah. We have an actor's pastiness discussion at some point in the future.
Yes. Oh, yes.
How pasty is this actor at a scale of 1 to 10? And how pasty can
they get before they really lose that tall, dark, handsome vibe and you just can't get into it without some tan? I mean, and Odin's like, please, girls, let me out of this conversation.
Oh, pastiness. Anyway.
As I was going to say, to make things come full circle, I would say that Driver definitely has some Chad energy, so.
I see what you did there. Awesome.
I see, said the blind man to his deaf dog.
More blind jokes. Poor Tina.
That's something I've said for years. It wasn't about Tina.
Are you okay?
Oh, but I'm just thinking about that poor dog. That's all I'm thinking about. It's like, oh, that poor dog. She said, I gotta look at
you guys are gonna suck the fun out of every joke, aren't you?
Yep. When dogs are involved, every time.
You're such a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure somebody needs to be fed or let out to pee or lunch or something. So I'll be listening, but I gotta peace out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you.
Good Saturday.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
I could use some love. Thank you. That's very sweet.
Much love to you.
Love everybody. Kisses.
Ew, germs. I mean. I'm sorry. I'm really in a mood today. Bye. It's not any of you guys' fault.
And that's how Internet COVID was started. A fateful Saturday afternoon. And kisses were sent. Oh, anyway, Laura, thank you for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Much love to the modern Major General. All right, so Mr. Roy.
Hi.
Hey, man, it's been a while. How you been? Yep. What you been watching? You been adding to your collection?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, most of the stuff I'll talk about is stuff that I either got in your giveaways or stuff I found at Best Buy.
Nice. So, very nice. Yeah, by the way, I still need to pick the winner for this one, but for anyone who is a member, Keep It the Bifrost and above in the giveaways channel on Discord, there's currently a giveaway for this bad boy going on.
I've seen that.
This is chapter 1 and 3.
I thought about it, but
yeah,
I already own all the steel books, so I'm like, do I want to do the giveaway or?
I do too. But I realized, I looked back and I was like, wait, the first two I have are actually on just Blu-ray, and only the third one was actually a 4K steelbook release. And so I was like, you know what, I could probably use one of these. And then it's such a beautiful release, I was like, oh, I definitely need to buy an extra one to give a giveaway. But go ahead.
Is this admitting to an addiction?
No, It's a hobby, okay? It's not an addiction. It's a hobby. It's a difference.
Then why do you sound so defensive?
Because I felt like being defensive.
It's an expensive hobby.
It's called acting. Anyway.
No.
So yeah, what you've been really enjoying from
I
Best
watched
Buy giveaways?
3:10 to Yuma.
Yeah, the remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you think?
I really liked it.
Okay. Have you seen the original?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. Tina
That's
will
the
be
thing
very
about
upset with you, but okay.
Yeah, this is I think one of those rare remakes that I think is really good. I think the director did a really good job of making, I think, a really like respectable, but slightly different, version of the movie. I'd seen the original. I know there's subtle like story differences between this one and the original film.
Mm-hmm.
I know Russell Crowe and Christian Bale just good performances overall.
Mm-hmm.
The cinematography is really good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you could tell that the people they hired people that actually knew how to ride horses and stuff because it's yeah.
But that's what makes it so good is that you are able to see things and realize, oh, these are actual horses. These are actually things that are happening and not just CGI or green screen effects.
Well, the main thing is that they'll hire like actors, and then when you see the horse riding scenes and stuff, they'll use stunt doubles or people that are more familiar riding horses.
Yeah.
But no, they when they hired their actors, they actually knew how to ride horses and actually ride horses well.
Yeah, it's always good to see that because you can always tell when it's the actual person or they're trying to CGI their face onto the person.
Yeah, that's an overall good movie. It's got a fantastic steelbook. It's got that plastic sleeve cover and it's beautiful. I highly recommend the steelbook.
Yeah. I mean, I think because with the plastic one, that would make it a how was it? Lionsgate release. Yeah, and Lionsgate continues to kill it with almost all of their releases.
Yeah,
I've talked to Tom Connors from Midnight's Edge After Dark about it, and he says like he sometimes has certain things about like the transfer quality, but he's like, oh yeah, as far as like the actual physical stuff, like it's just spectacular what they do.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed about the film. It's slightly blurry. It's not awful, but you could tell that the transfer is not 100%. I'll say about 95. It's a slight blurriness to it. It's kind of hard to explain.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm starting to notice it a lot more because I just bought a 4K OLED for my desk.
Oh, nice. Was it a LG C2?
No, I bought a Sony. I believe it's a A9K, which is
okay.
What I've been told is a better TV.
Oh,
yes. More expensive. Way more.
Usually that's how it works, and it's always the battles on YouTube when you're like trying to figure out what is the best thing for you. It's always Sony versus LG usually.
Yeah. When it comes to the movies, I've been told Sony makes a better TV, but you're paying that Sony price. It's usually way more, and generally, I will say it's not worth it for most people.
Yeah.
Usually the LG C2 is good for most people. But when it comes down, like this is a 42-inch TV sitting on a desk on me sitting like 3 feet from it. I wanted the best of the best that they had. And yeah.
Nice. Very cool. And do you have what player do you got? The Panasonic?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's that not their flagship, the one right below. It's the A20EB. It's
okay. That might be the one I have. I forgot which one I ended up picking up, but the image quality is just out of this world for sure.
The big deal with Panasonic is its HDR is good, really good compared to like Sony players.
Yeah, and I mean that's like the battle you have to fight is basically I forget which one owns it, but like one owns HDR 10 plus, and then everyone else can use the other HDR.
So it's Dolby Vision That's going to be LG, Sony, and Hisense. Samsung uses HDR10 Plus, which is an oddball.
HDR very few
standard.
have it.
Yeah.
Samsung sucks. For a lot of reasons, including the fact they're the company that caught using spyware in their devices against the users. B, they almost never actually honor their warranties.
I thought you were going to go the direction of they made an exploding phone.
That too, but I mean, there's so many things that I start with the ones that I've seen and dealt with more myself.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's so many reasons. Samsung is a crap company. I can't believe they're looked at as a high end.
Yeah.
I mean, they're high end when it comes to LED TVs, but they're just now getting to the OLED market, and yeah.
I wasn't, by the way, kidding. They were the one that was actually sued for actually using the smart system in one of the TVs to spy on one of their customers.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, you can use customers' information, but you have to let them know that you're doing that. And I think that was the issue with Samsung. They were not telling their customers that they're selling their information.
Yeah,
it's not just selling information. They were watching them in their house.
Well, so Abomination over on Odyssey says Samsung was just the one that got caught.
Yeah.
Because all these companies, I wouldn't put it past any of these companies, to be honest.
Why do you think whether I buy a newer high-end TV or not, I won't buy the smart TV ones? Because they have that system.
Yeah. That's why when you sign on to new devices and stuff, they let you know, hey, we're going to share your information and stuff like that. Because that's a lot of legal gray area when it comes to like, hey, we're just going to sell your stuff without telling you.
Yeah. And it's like most people
don't give permission to spy on people. Don't do it. That's just...
Most people don't read those things. They make it that way, right? They make it that way so that most people will just kind of just go right by and say, I just want to access my TV. And
who was it that did that a few years ago where he created a false terms of service so people would sign it, and it actually vowed your soul and your firstborn to him?
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
And he had like over 100,000 people sign it without noticing.
It doesn't surprise me though.
That sounds like TikTok.
Yeah, it does. It does.
This was an app creator a while back, but I can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
I'd have to look it up.
Of course, all of this always brings me back to the South Park episode with the human Sentai pad. Because it's all like, oh, you signed the iTunes terms of service, and so that means that you could be used in an experiment.
Yeah, I don't know. Everybody acts like that's normal. The three people are sewed together. It's like, oh, that's all normal.
Also, that Carbon can get the top of the line experimental iPad. That's such a good episode.
310 to Yuma. One of the things I didn't notice until I watched the director commentary is that like 3/4 of the movie is shot with hand camera work.
Oh, I didn't.
It does not look like hand camera work, but the 3/4 of the movie is shot with just dudes holding cameras.
I think that might be because he doesn't use a lot of shaky cam. Yeah, I think today so many like cinematographers and directors think, oh yeah, shaky cam because handheld has to be shaky. It's like, doesn't have to. There's movies where you can see like small movements and that's all you need to see because that small movement makes you more focused in the moment.
Yeah, he used it because there's a lot of like close-up shots where using like tripods and stuff, it's really hard to do, especially in small rooms. So, I mean, props to the director. I mean,
yeah,
one of those rare movies that I don't get motion sickness and, the hand camera work.
That's one of the reasons I'm so done with modern movies overall. They all either use too much flashing or strobe, or they're so shaky they make me feel like I'm going to throw up.
Mm-hmm. And some of them are really, really, really bad. Like even like for me, I don't have as much. Like I don't have a lot of like motion issues. But like there's movies where even for instance, the film Ambulance. Oh my goodness, that film almost made me sick. Seeing that film in IMAX. That's how bad.
When I look at movies and their cameras are shaking more than my videos do, and I'm recording those videos with nerve damage and Parkinson's, something's wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's something wrong there.
Oh, for sure. And a lot of times they don't have any real warnings about it either. I mean, sometimes the theaters will have those things up, but it's very rare. And I know there's a lot more films that have that stuff. that don't have the warnings. It's very weird how they handle that. But yeah, James Mangold was the one who directed it, and even though he is, I think, he went after my friends of the Salted Nerd podcast. So I've got issues. I got beef with this guy, but it can't deny the fact still he's a very talented director. I don't think that's going to save his Indiana Jones movie, but
I can, especially because during that whole beef time, he actually was threatening to me.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me. Like, again, at this point, this guy doesn't surprise me if he does anything evil, but
I mean, some of the most bigoted and honestly racist statements were the things he kept saying to everybody during that whole fight. So,
yeah.
I don't know. I never got into his movies anyways. That's why I laughed when he started acting that way. It's like, I don't even know who you are or care.
Oh,
I was really apparently really offended him when I said that.
I really like Logan and Ford v Ferrari.
Ford v Ferrari. I did not. I'm not a car person. So when I went into it, I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. And when I came out of it, I was like, I kind of want to be a car person. I don't, but this movie makes me think I want to be, is how effective it was.
I'm kind of a car and motorcycle person, and I had no interest in that movie. So maybe it's that snarky, you hate everything side that everyone tells me I have. I'm not kidding. People look at me and go, oh, you hate everything. It's like, no, just most of the crap out there.
I love when people say that to me when they're like, you hate everything. It's like, there's like, especially like I had a comment said on one of my videos just like the last month or two. And I'm like, wait a minute. I probably have the most positive reviews of movies ever to like the start of a year in a while. And it's like, wait, I could list off several movies that I've seen just this year that I've given glowing reviews to. But I love when that is, because I can be cynical for sure, but there's some good movies out there.
I get that comment from people daily. I don't know why that is. It's not like I'm that cynical, right?
Abomination asked, I guess this is of Ford v Ferrari. Is it the modern Fast? Is it the modern The Fast and the Furious? Wait, what? Oh man, I guess you're talking about like the like OG, because isn't there like an OG Fast and Furious that's not the actual Fast and Furious franchise?
I'm not sure, but Ford vs Ferrari is based in actual reality and not fantasy.
Crazy fantasy, and it gets crazier every year. And I can't believe Fast 10 is coming out this year.
Even the first movie.
Why the first one was dumb. I'm sorry.
The first one's dumb.
I don't even dislike the actors. But I've never liked Fast and Furious. And I'm a Vin Diesel fan, and I still don't like Fast and Furious. I think it's stupid.
But it's about family.
Yeah, that doesn't win me over. If you've seen how big and crazy my family is, I want to get away from family sometimes. I mean,
it's hard to me to see Vin Diesel or anything without thinking family.
Yeah. When he says, I am Groot, it's like, oh, you mean family? Oh, okay.
Yep.
That's all I needed to know. Yeah,
Abomination. No, that's what We Are Groot meant. Family. I mean,
yes. Hey, that's a good point. He has a theme. He has a theme in all the things he does. But Abomination said he was talking about how people got into cars after the first Fast and Furious film. And yeah, I in a certain way, but not a lot of people, not nearly as many people have seen Ford v Ferrari versus the Fast and Furious franchise.
Can I yawn and pass on both? Thanks.
What else were you able to watch?
I watched Castle Blanca.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because you win one of the 4Ks, right?
Yeah, that was one of the ones I won from you. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for entering. What'd you think? Because you'd seen it before, I imagine.
It's been about 30 years since I've seen it.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, so I had a music teacher back in like grade school. They used to show us a bunch of old movies, and this was probably one of them.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I mean, because
I apologize for the background noise.
At first I was just like,
you're fine.
Vacuum?
What's something I don't care about or hate is people having noise issues, because life happens.
But yeah, I just love the way in which the film, even after so many years with these new transfers that come out, especially, just are able to look almost just not necessarily brand new, because you could still clearly tell things are dated. The thing I always love about Casablanca, the scene that I always kind of like facepalm, is how they do their old school driving effects. So when they show him and her driving, and he's just clearly not driving the car, and it's got the fake backgrounds, and they're the backgrounds are fading from one place to another, and it's keeping them the exact same. And it's like, oh gosh, it's like I still love this movie, but
yeah, this is a very well shot movie. There are some weird rear projection, and then there's some scenes where they use a model airplane that are bad.
Yeah. Oh, the model airplane. Oh, that's right. That's right. I forgot. I forgot about the model airplane scene. But yeah, because everything else though just looks phenomenal. And that's why, luckily, those are very few far between. They're of their time. That's pretty much all they could have done in reality. But yeah, I love this movie so much.
Yeah, the acting's fantastic. Cinematography is phenomenal. The way they use shadows throughout the film, and yeah, it's kind of weird that what's her name? Ingrid Bergman.
Ingrid Bergman, yeah.
Yeah, they only wanted to film one side of her face throughout the whole movie.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah. Was that something because of was that her request?
That was her request because she thought that side of her face looked better.
Yeah, because that was during a time when the concept of get my good side was actually a much more of a realistic thing.
Which is weird.
Partly because of the camera angles back then were a lot easier to pick up on flaws and stuff. And there's a movie that was corny that came out in the 90s. It was a comedy, but one of the lines was actually a point where she started beating the crap out of the paparazzi guy because she's screaming, "Not from the left! Never from the left!" While she's beating on him. And it's like, that. Yeah, that's kind of how some of these actresses are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was something she did fly her throughout her career. She only wanted to be filmed from that side or that angle. And then in Casablanca, they intentionally used shadows to make her look smaller than she really was. Because she was like 5'9". She was actually a tall woman. She's actually
for that
taller
time.
than she's actually taller than Hungry Bogart.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that he's smaller than than he looks.
Yeah, you could it's shot really well, but you could tell in certain scenes he's sitting on something to make himself look taller.
I'm sitting here going, I actually know what this is like. I'm actually technically taller than my husband.
Yeah.
But I say, Ingrid Bergman, she's as tall as my wife, because Lady Frey is 5'9".
I am actually just under 5'9", just between them. So
nice.
And my mom and my sister are barely 5 foot.
Oh wow.
So I make a lot of shorty jokes at them. I post things to my mom of a little kitten trying to jump up onto a counter and only going up like an inch. You go, "Mom, is this you trying to get stuff out of the cupboards?" And stuff like that.
I'm looking at the cinematographer's filmography, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, this guy's actually been involved in so many other things. Like, because I know, Casablanca I love, but it's sad that modern day cinematographers, it seems like modern day cinematographers, oftentimes, I don't know, they're talked about a lot more than maybe in times previous, where obviously in this era of Hollywood, it was all about the actors, right? So actors were the big names. Sometimes some directors could break through, but then cinematographers just didn't get nearly as much attention, because this guy I'm looking at all the stuff he's done, and it's a lot of really big movies.
Yeah, it seems like when you watch the film, no scene's wasted. Like, he doesn't just film B-roll of this random crap. It's just everything it's a part of the movie and makes sense. It flows really good. I mean, I highly recommend. The 4K is actually quite good for the black and white transfer. Yeah.
Well, something about Laura says I heard Bogart needed romper stompers. But yeah, that's what's so great about most 4K releases, is that especially the older ones where it's clearly from the 35 millimeter print, is that they just look so almost consistently pretty good. There's very rarely issues when it comes to movies like that.
HDR makes black and white look so crisp.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you were able to watch?
I watched probably, I'm only joking when I say this, probably the greatest motion picture ever made by mankind.
Oh boy.
I watched Air Force One starring Harrison Ford.
Yes. One of the greatest of all time. There's no joke in there. That's just a statement of fact. Get off my plane.
Yeah. Oh, this movie's fantastic. This is one of the most enjoyable movies you'll ever watch.
Yeah. What do you like most about it?
It's one of those films you watch. If you watch a lot of movies, you notice very quickly, Harrison Ford does all his own stunts throughout the whole movie. He's in his mid-50s,
Yeah.
This guy's getting thrown around by stuntman and crap. It's insane.
I kind of wonder if that maybe led to him kind of not moving as well as
it's
others
one of
his
his
age.
later movies, but yeah, the stunt work in this movie is fantastic, without a shadow of a doubt. Right?
Mm-hmm. I think I've only seen this movie one time, actually. I forgot Gary Oldman's in it as the
he's
guy.
fantastic. He's one of the best villains ever.
Yeah.
He just shoots everyone if you can.
And look at it. It was so revolutionary for its time. It's amazing how Air Force One, 1997, Glenn Close played the Vice President of the United States.
Yeah, It's also
actually,
like it's funny how this movie is so like pro-American. It's directed by a German filmmaker.
Yeah, that's right, Wolfgang Peterson.
I was going to say there was actually a short-lived show in the 90s that was actually dealt with the possibility of a female president inheriting it because she became vice president as token, and then had to deal with all the crap people did to her because she was token to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like people realize these issues were taken on in a much more serious way in the time when they actually were relevant. It's not new now. They're just trying to take other people's fights and make them their own.
Yeah. The guy's got a pretty good filmography. At least few names in there that I recognize.
Yeah, he just come off, I believe, directing In the Line of Fire, who Clint Eastwood. So it's another two pro-American movies made by German. It's just weird.
One is not like the other, it seems.
Yeah.
Must resist smart-ass comments.
I do appreciate Laura's take here. I would rather have Glenn Close than Harris. Yeah, I think a lot of people probably would.
I think we all would, and that's not even an effort to say that.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly a fan of Glenn Close in person either, but I'd still have her over this.
To this day, though, of all the Glenn Close acting performances, I am still always blown away by the fact that she is in Hook and that she plays a male pirate, and it's insane that actually happened, and that it, like, even now that I know that, every time I go back, I'm like, no. I can see, but no. It's amazing.
Yeah, we made all these strides decades ago. I don't know why these people keep acting like there's all these fights now that we've already finished them fights, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's weird how they want to erase everybody's past so they can claim that they're the first people to overcome things that have already been beaten.
Yeah. Looking at you, Brie Larson.
No, she's not Brie Larson. Savior.
Not Brie Larson, my bad. Sorry, Jennifer Lawrence, who was the first.
Oh, God.
Watch it.
Hey, I did. I deserve credit for that, especially on my hormones.
I know. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You're restrained.
Yeah, I'll say too.
Yeah, I literally had to restrain my mouth. But anyway.
Wait, what was that?
Yeah, like the sets and the production of this is fantastic. They didn't have access to the actual Air Force One, so they had to rent a 747 and paint it to look like Air Force One, and fly it around and film it. Like there's a mixture of CGI models and the actual rented plane that looks like Air Force One.
Oh wow!
And they mix it up really, really well. Like there is a few scenes in the movie that are terrible, like CGI wise, like especially at the end when they crashed that Air Force One into the ocean. It's bad. It's really, really bad.
Yeah. So it makes them charming, though.
Yeah. And there's some scenes where you can tell it's obvious models moving. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're pretty, like, back in that time, they were still using film, and if you were to film something at night, you couldn't see anything. So they're having to like film the skies during the day and then put a filter on to look like it's done at night, and then put models over it.
Oh yeah, and that's like, I know my wife, like, she's not a big like film critic, but for her, she notices a couple things that I like. It's hard for me to notice them, but filters, she almost always can tell if they're using a filter, and then wigs. So it's like, so we're watching something and she's like, "Oh, this wig is so terrible." I'm like, "What?" Oh, I was like, I didn't even notice, and I didn't even know it was a wig.
I want to test her. I'm going to send you some photos, show her which ones, and let her know which one I actually altered.
Okay, I will.
We'll see. I'll say too, though, the sets in this movie are fantastic. All the interior shots you see are built sets. They're not an actual airplane.
Those were the days, right? You know, when they actually built their sets and they spent the time.
Gave a damn. I mean,
yeah, they actually cared.
Yeah, when they had scenes where the airplane will tilt or like shake, that's the actual set moving. That's not that's not camera work.
Yeah,
they actually move the sets around.
And one of the few examples I can think of from modern day filmmaking is now a movie that was 10 plus years old at this point, and that was Inception, when they have the spinning hall scene, and the actors are actually on like wires going as this built hall is actually spinning. Like that's the only one I could think of, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the movies I was warned not to watch with my issues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. There's a lot of flashing stuff in there. Anything else you're able to watch?
I do get what you mean there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 4K is pretty good. You don't have that sleeve cover, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's got nice artwork, right?
Yeah. It's got Harrison Ford and Gary Oldman.
What more could you ask for?
Yeah. And a plane exploding on the front of it. That's pretty much it. I did watch like the Super Mario Brothers movie, but I didn't really care for it.
Okay, so you actually you share in my point of view about it. Then
it's a movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as how I would view it as well, though, of course, as soon as I put that in, the 93. And I think I don't know if I said this in my review or if I said it on a stream, but I still hold to this. I would rather rewatch the 93 Mario film because of how bad it is, because it's hilariously bad, than not because this film is that bad, but because it is, as you said, it's a movie, and I don't really find it to be rewatchable. Like I don't have really a desire to watch it.
It's a very generic, family-oriented animated movie that Illusion's really good at making and really good at making money off of.
Yeah.
The only real criticisms I give to this movie is if you're someone that's never never played the games. Like if you're that old mom or your grandma that you take your kids to go see this thing and you watch it and you're like, what is going on? There's a lot of stuff in the movie that just happens.
Yeah.
And not explained.
And even have general knowledge. Because I did play I think it was Super Mario Brothers 2 on my Game Boy when I was a kid, and playing all the Mario Kart games, and so I have some reference. Obviously I haven't played any of the other major games in the library of Mario games, but ultimately, even when I was recognizing those things, I still it didn't really pop out.
I do understand why they made the movie in the way they made it, because it was made to make money, and it's going to make a lot of money.
It is making a lot of money.
I'm just going to sit here and say, Odin, quit reminding me how young you and innocent you are of some stuff.
Back in my day, we would.
You were a little whippersnapper, and I was running around as a teenager.
I mean, I was a little child. Yeah, because it's making a crap ton of money. I'm gonna be having to eat pineapple pizza this Friday on Friday Night Tights because it's hitting 1 billion by Sunday, I think. So
yeah. The only thing I get
see, that's the reason you gave it a bad review. You were hoping people wouldn't watch it. I mean,
no, I even said in my review, I'm like, this film's gonna make a lot of money. I don't really see why from a film perspective, but
yeah, I understand your thoughts when it came to video game movies generally don't make money. But I kind of saw the thing I saw is I started seeing people on Facebook, my personal Facebook, going and taking their kids to see this movie. Oh crap, this is going to make a lot of money.
I was last time I saw
that was the Lion King remake. I started seeing my friends and family going and bringing their kids to see this movie.
So I need to go to you when Little Mermaid comes out, so that way I can know whether the film's going to make any money.
I was actually
because I'm off of Facebook. Yeah, go ahead.
I was trying to think, going back to the whole thing on the on the video game movies and when they actually have success. The only one I can think of that actually had well-reviewed and success for what they made with it that I know of, I mean true success for how beloved it was was the animated Street Fighter movie.
Really?
It was globally beloved. It still is among gamer circles. And I have it. It is a lot of boys I know basically came to age watching the shower scene with Chun-Li. And the fact that her big fight with Vega was right after the shower scene when she was still half naked. But it was beloved. It is a great movie. But again, this is manga stuff. This was an actual anime movie based on an anime based game.
Yeah.
So they really played to the strength better in it.
Because I was gonna say, I think the one that probably has the most success, like both with even amongst video game fans, I think that they like it for different reasons, maybe, but that got maybe some other non-gaming audiences in was probably live action Mortal Kombat from the 90s. I think that film even today still does very well.
Still not a very good movie.
No, it's not a good film by any means.
Let me remember.
Did well though.
Let me remember. How old are you again?
I am turning. Oh my goodness gracious! Let's see. I forget my age sometimes. I'm turning 35 in September.
See, that few years difference does make a big difference because Street Fighter was pushing edge for what I was allowed to watch when it came out for my age. And, my parents were kind of permissive in what they let me see. So I could see, because after its success when it was first released, it became very cult classic to the anime community, why you wouldn't necessarily have seen or heard of it much.
Probably.
I still think you should see it, even though it does push the edge a little bit. As he said, yes, some nudity, but the fights were amazing, and it wasn't over the top nudity in your face or stuff. It was shadowed from the back, or you see a little pop or stuff. It wasn't in your face over the top.
Yeah.
Good point, Soul. Good point, Soul. Plus, it's a 90s movie. What the hell is wrong with Odin for now not even knowing a 90s movie? Forget about 80s.
I just said I haven't seen it. I didn't say I didn't know anything about it. Anyway, I think Laura's comment, though, my daughter's Odin's age. Yeah. I'm a youngin'.
Laura, you're going to make me feel young, too, saying that. Odin, you can give me all kinds of crap because I turned 40 this year. I will be, yes.
Nah, I mean, it's an age. It's a number.
Be 38 in January.
Nice.
Yay, I'm the oldest one on panel. Yeah, it's awkward.
We got an old granny on the panel.
To be fair, in the anime Nights of the Anime Table stuff I do, which I've been doing for 3 years, basically, a bunch of these guys you've talked to, some on Twitter back when you were there more. There's literally only one person in the group that's older than me, and it's by like 2 months. Everybody else who comes and rotates on this panel is between like mid-20s to early 30s. And it's like I sit on that panel, I go, oh, you good old kids. You good old kids. Because it's like sitting there going, oh my God, you're all kids.
Happy early birthday to Laura.
Yeah.
Just revealed she's going to be 53 on Monday. Happy early birthday, Laura. And Orange Hat also in the same boat in the 30s here. 38 in February. Nice.
30 Club.
Yeah, 30 Club. Soul Assassin is the real youngin', though. 32 next March. Look at that. Look at that.
The important thing is that when I go on panels and streams, everyone still assumes I'm in my 20s when they look at me.
Boom. There you go.
I get told all the time on streams that I'm too young to know things about things, and I'm talking about stuff from my childhood. It's like, how old do you think I am? Not old enough to have seen this stuff. It's like,
hey, not older than this guy, though. Southeastern Kaiju. Older than Gary. Oh, goodness.
Okay, so we'll have to help your fossils get movement. Do you need oil? I mean,
what are you, 70, Southeastern Kaiju? I mean,
we're terrible people. You know that, right?
No. We just say fun things sometimes that some people might find offensive. Anyway,
how much is the doggy in the window? You don't want me to sing that whole version, trust me.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for movies.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I watched a bunch of stuff, but this is like the 4 movies that I've really enjoyed to the part. Yeah.
Nice.
I do have a stack here of I got Training Day, Tommy Boy, Planet of the Apes.
I just picked that one up the other day. I just got myself the copy of Training Day.
That's I ain't opened it. It's still in the wrapper.
Nice, yeah, and it's got the bullet.
Now I'm gonna roll my eyes.
Why? Training Day's great.
Training Day sucks.
Oh, boo! Thumbs down in the chat. Thumbs down, chat.
It
boo.
is so
Training
over
Day's...
the top cliche crap.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's Denzel, peak Denzel.
No,
Denzel.
worse Denzel.
It's
so much
Denzel.
better Denzel out
Denzel.
there. So much
It's
better
Denzel.
Denzel out there.
But
When
it's
people
Denzel.
When
So?
people quote Denzel, they quote Training Day.
That is true.
It's still a sucky movie.
Oh, General Wingster, how dare you turn to the dark side? He says, Training Day's fun but overrated. No.
Look at Orange Hat.
No. Decent, but it works.
Okay, I can give Ambrosia. It's great crap for people who like that stuff, but it is not well made actually for what it is. There's so little research, there's so little done right about the cultures, about the underground, everything, that it's actually painful to anybody who's ever lived in those communities.
Oh, but it's still, again,
No.
it's
No.
escapism. That's the thing. That's the point.
Escapism, if you're basing it on real neighborhoods, has to be enough like that neighborhood that you're not pulled out of it laughing your ass off. Sorry.
It's not Avatar, okay? It's not Avatar. It's actually
Training
good.
Day is only considered classic because of how old it is. And it was dumb when it came out. I called it that then, too.
It's also because a lot of people really enjoy it.
Well, that's so what? A lot of people enjoy Disney Star Wars. You want to go there?
I was about to say, I know that is not going to therefore mean that it's the... Oh, my goodness.
Don't mind me. I'm kind of uncoordinated right now.
Something fell. But no, it's great. It's phenomenal. I also just got... Yeah, go ahead.
I do have the Highlander 4K, and it is gorgeous.
I almost got that one, but I think that's one that I actually watched after being prompted to, and
the movie's hit and miss.
There is a difference to Guzman out there between saying that, and it doesn't have to be realist to the fullest, all that, but if you're going to base something on a part of the subculture, at least understand that part of the subculture. And Laura, I watch tons of movies. I just not recently because my life's busy.
Yeah.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, the Highlander 4K, the sleeve cover is one of the probably the not I won't say the best steelbook I've owned, but man, it's close.
I would much rather watch that than Training Day. Sorry.
I would disagree with the slipcover comment only because I think, especially with, again, the Lionsgate releases, I still think the release for Ran is just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Kurosawa's Ran, like, it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, Ron's up there. You got that Godfather 50 year?
Yes, I have. So on the shelf behind me, someone gave me. It's not the Steelbook collection, but it's the trilogy.
That big giant book that's got everything in it.
No, I don't got that. But
that thing. Oh my god!
I heard them talking about that on 4K4U, and I was like, oh, I missed out on that one. But dang,
it's something else. It won't fit on my shelf, but man,
yeah, it's a monster. It is a monster of a set. Oh, man. Well, Mr. Roy, thank you for sharing. I was glad to be able to talk to you this week. Rosetta, anything that you wanted to talk about, to share, to promote?
Can I give you crap for the fact that no matter when I show up, you always put me as the last one you talk to?
No. You had, what, was it 2 months you had solo streams?
Well, that wasn't my fault, though.
But you
could still count that as me being the last one you talked to, though.
No, because that makes you the first and the last. Thank you very much.
I'm giving you crap. Let me enjoy teasing you. No, I mean, look, the thing is for me, most of what I watch is usually weird old stuff and comedy specials and old TV shows, and for some reason got into it with my mom here while we're trying to do a million projects and things. We're just rewatching a bunch of the old sitcoms that are all interconnected to each other, which started with All in the Family and watching the spinoffs and stuff together.
I love that show.
But because we don't like all the censorship and stuff, and we kind of prefer when people were honest about the struggles in the communities and stuff, and they were in those shows, whether or not you necessarily always agree with them, they showed the good and bad in both sides. And so, yeah, we've been watching that stuff a lot. And other than that, yeah, life is crazy busy this last few years. I swear, especially this last year, dealing with everything since Dad passed. It's mostly working, almost always working. And the biggest things I want to promote is yes, the nature stuff I do is growing massively, and that's intentional and hard work. But it's also that to help each other here, because how many people that I've seen within these communities are going through so much right now. Let's look at what Tina's going through, what a bunch of them are. And that's where I'm feeling right now. It's like we're kind of stuck where we're not helping each other enough. That said, I'm trying to think. There was a few things I watched here recently, but my short-term memory being my short-term memory, I'm like desperately trying to remember what the hell they were. This is the fun part.
What's the fun part?
Trying to remember things in my short-term memory of my issues.
Oh,
it's like I have this like haze, which was always that way a bit from the fiber fog and the seizure damage, but as the Parkinson's goes on, it's getting hazier.
Yeah.
Where there's like about a 3-week period, I just can't remember for the life of me. It's like this blank space in my memory. Yeah. And right now, most of the stuff I've done recently is in that space. So,
okay. But things are going really well. Because I know you've been obviously busy with family. Have you been able to work on Eagle Book, or been able to do more of the pinups?
I have the art space for the pinups at the house, so I will be doing that more. I cannot work on the Eagle Book till I replace my computer. I cannot run the program anymore. It's so dead.
So okay, so that's still the case. You haven't been able to.
I haven't been able to get the money because every time anything happens, I'm taking care of everyone in the family.
Yeah.
And right now, I have to replace Mom's dryer and help with other stuff too. So.
Yeah. And
family can make things so easy sometimes, right?
Always. And how is your brother doing?
My brother's found a place at least, so we got that at least fixed.
Good.
And we're doing better with a lot of the stuff. I've been very active, and in fact, yesterday was about the most I've actually been able to hike and move and do tours and stuff for my photography since I tore the leg over a year ago. So that's a big step. That's also why I'm off camera today, because I can't sit up very long right now because my leg still hurts from doing that much.
Yeah.
But so there's progress at least. I mean, that's got to count for something, right?
Absolutely. It's always about steps, I mean, we were talking about that with Tina earlier, right? It's all about finding that next step, that next thing that you can do,
Unfortunately, yeah, it's about steps, which hurts when the leg was the injury. I'm sorry, I have to be a smart ass. No, I mean, it's just piece by piece overcoming things is what we all do in life. And I try to tell people, okay, I've dealt with more than some people, but it doesn't really matter. Whatever struggle's going on to that person, that's valid.
Yeah, it's about meeting people where they're at.
Unfortunately, I've got like all these projects that are like almost done, but I can't do anything with them until I take care of everybody else, It
sounds like once you're able to get back home, that might be the best time to start to, start to be able to move with more speed, I guess you could say.
Yeah. The biggest thing is the program that my husband got me to make the books. It was perfect. I can't remember the name now because it's in the database of 900 miles away, but it was perfect for it. I could design. It gave me the page bleed outlines, all the information. It helped throw things together. You could easily make backgrounds with all these different patterns by extracting the colors straight out of the pictures and images you use on the page, other stuff. I mean, really great program.
Yeah.
expensive ass program.
But I remember that you were really enjoying like its functionality and what it was able to do.
But because part of why you can do all that stuff is because it keeps everything partly open that's in that project while you have it open.
Yeah.
When you're doing this 100-page book with all these photos, it eats memory.
Mm-hmm.
And so when your computer dies and you can't even hardly run the mic anymore without the memory crashing and it's shutting itself down all the time, some reason you can't run that program.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife had been using an old Mac from like 2012, and so she got a lot of use out of that. But yeah, she's been trying to run programs because she has now, it's called a Cricut. I don't know too much about patterns and all that creative space, but she was trying to run stuff on her old Mac and it just wasn't working. So we actually ended up just finding like a used 2020 one, and we're able to get, obviously, my opinion on Apple products is always pretty well known, but we were able to get it luckily at a much cheaper price. And
I'm not a fan of Apple, know that. For the biggest issue for me is I gotta replace. When I started streaming and chatting with you guys 4 years ago, my computer was old. I haven't had a chance to replace it, so
wow.
My computer is very, very dead and dying, and it needs help. It needs real help, but I can't do much with that when every time I raise even a couple $100, it goes to somebody else or something else.
Mm-hmm.
All this work, all this fundraising, all the art, all the selling jewelry, everything I've done this year, and I've gotten negative in my budget since the beginning of it because I keep ending up taking care of everyone else.
Yeah. Does your computer is it a laptop that you can, since I know it's not a Mac, it means it's most likely a lot more upgradable friendly. Have you ever tried like taking it apart and seeing if you can upgrade certain parts?
I don't use laptops for my main computer.
For the main computer, then are there parts that maybe you can update and upgrade?
There's too much that's dying at this point. It really wouldn't work. My husband's looked at it and said that basically he needs to junk it for parts for his computer to keep it going and just get me a high-end one at this point.
Okay.
And I know he's created a whole list of exactly what I need for all the functions I do, which I will trust him on that because his expertise with computers and technology is... Yeah. So
luckily there has been a lot of breakthroughs in a lot of the developments in computer technology as well, where there are a lot of things that are a lot cheaper now than they once were.
Yeah.
And
the big issue
the Ryzen platform especially
is that you can only do so many port splitters before they affect how fast the things hooked to them are running and stuff like that. And I have to use a lot of ports in for all the different camera technology, hard drives, everything like that I have to run.
Yeah.
And you can't find hardly anything with more than like 2 ports anymore because they want you to use freaking Bluetooth and batteries on everything. I'm not paying to use batteries on everything. It's stupid, you know? And so it's like I need something with lots of ports on it. And so he's found a few that would work, but in order to do it, it has to be a very specific type of gaming computer to have everything I need and the ports.
And you actually might be able to...
Then it gets expensive. And he's looked at ones to self-build, and it's still going to cost the same basic price.
Yeah. Because with the ports issues, though, I know that a lot of these now, like with the advancement of USB-C technology, especially like with Thunderbolt technology, you have to get the dongles, but that allows you then to get all the ports you really could need without having to worry about, bottlenecking, basically.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's still expensive that way, too. We've looked at all these options so much, and we're going, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do for under $2K with all the things I need.
Okay.
Nothing. And it's like, and odds are it's going to be more than that.
Wow.
And it's because photography work is extremely expensive to do. It is. Yeah. But I love it. I love what I do. And I love the fact that it makes people smile. It makes people happy. And so I'm going to find a way to do it, but it's going to be a lot of work. Yeah. So.
Well, people can, of course, follow you over on Twitter at RoseMQueen1. Also, the YouTube channel Eagle Rider. And I'm happy to hear you said that you were able to hit another channel milestone.
Yeah, I went from, at the end of November when I started all this, I was at about 900 subs.
Yeah.
I hit the 1,000 just before Christmas. I got monetized basically the day before my birthday, but couldn't do the stream for it till right after the turn of the year. And as of yesterday, I'm at 2,100 subs. So that means in less than 5 months so far, I have gone up about 1,200 subs.
Nice.
So yeah, it's quite a growth actually right now.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's very much switched to mostly the nature work and just streams on occasion, but pulling the streams down now. So
okay. Well, nice. Well, I posted the link to the channel.
A lot of crazy videos. In fact, if you see the middle one there with the bison in the shorts there,
Baby Bison March.
That's actually a baby bison, and that's a couple days old, marching around out in the hills with its mama.
Oop.
So you can actually, and then it's like, you can actually see the little baby there with its mama, and it'll run out and play in front of her.
Aww. Well, that's
Those
adorable.
are what they call red dogs, or it's the first few weeks of the baby bison's life when they're all red and cute.
Aww. You always tell with like animal babies because they got the really long, gangly legs.
But the bison are having a lot of the calves right now, so when I can get the other computer set up here, which my husband did bring his computer and my memory drives, so I can make some videos out of all those memory cards on my phone from the last few months.
Nice.
I will actually have a bunch of those videos that I'll be throwing into the program for the daily post for the next several months. I've just been programming it to auto post the video daily and then posting shorts as I feel like. So every day at noon my time, it auto posts one of the videos I've got programmed from the things I've recorded and edited. That's programmed right now up to the 15th of June.
Oh, nice.
And I'll have a bunch more soon.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have rants about tourists, or as we call them, tourons, which is the tourist morons. I'm actually in a group that works with a bunch of the rangers in the Black Hills and Yellowstone, where the entire group is us bitching about bad tourists and making fun of them and doing memes about idiots that get themselves injured and stuff. So,
oh goodness,
I taken to the point now when I go out and I'm recording them that if I see a dumb tourist, I just turn the camera on and eventually one of them's going to make me go viral. I mean, eventually I'm going to get good footage and I'll go viral. And I
might
don't
as
really
well
care.
make money off of them, right?
I might as well make money off of their dumb Darwin Awards. I mean,
oh, gotta love the Darwin Awards. I mean, oh goodness.
My mom, we yelled at them for years, and Mom got stressed dealing with them. So now when we go by and we see them trying to walk up to the bison or do something like that, she just leans out the window and goes, "You go, honey. You get your Darwin Award."
And record. It's like, okay, you go right ahead, recording. Let's see what happens.
And the other day, I got somebody so mad at me because she's out of her car trying to go up towards the bison to take photos of them. And I'm in the car recording this clip, and I'm going, and here's the bison, and here's the dumb tourist trying to get herself killed by the bison. And as I turn the camera, she glares at me and jumps back in her car and takes off. It's like,
yeah, because smart move, because you could have gotten really hurt if you.
Oh, I think she ran because she saw the camera and thought I was going to humiliate her publicly.
Okay, yeah.
But it's like, I couldn't help it. It was so easy.
Well, I can hear the pitter patter of baby Thor's feet above my head, so he's awake. But I wanted to make sure to be able to give any last things you want to shout out, Rosetta.
Mostly just to keep up with the nature stuff. It will always be dropping a lot of that on my channel. I do so much of my photography, so much of these hikes and the work with natural resources groups and tracking and caring for wild animals and stuff that I'm never short for material for this stuff. And I've got a memory card on my phone right now with about 1,300 videos I can use for shorts over the next few months. So even if I stopped recording now, I'm set to post several a day for the next year. So,
nice. That's a good place to be.
You'll get stuff if you're on my channel. Just period, because I love my nature work and it's fun. And it may be silly, simple stuff and just grazing and feeding and playing and the bighorns jumping around and playing in road the other day and stuff like that. But it's fun.
People want to see that, you know?
it's something I can do with all my little spasms and twitches. I can still manage to record these videos and take these pictures. That's something.
Absolutely. And again, people need that kind of stuff because things get so crazy online. You know, just having a place where you can go where it's, hey, this is nice, this is relaxing, this is cute, this is adorable, is, you know, there's a huge meaning for that.
Well, yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Rosetta. And you can check her out at her YouTube channel. I got the link posted in the chat. Thank you again for being here. Mr. Roy, anything you want to shout out before we head out?
Yeah, I'm really happy and glad to see Tina back online.
Absolutely.
I really do miss the Tina and Step stream.
Oh yeah, soup to nuts.
We've all missed Tina so much.
Yeah.
And she's been such a heart to this community. She's such a sweetheart to everybody. She really is.
Yeah, it's really hard to find someone online that talks about older films that, in a way she does still to gain your interest. And I missed that quite a lot.
Yeah, it was great having her on for even just a little while to be able to hear her movie thoughts and just to get that perspective again. And, you know, Tina, if you're listening back to this, it was great having you on, and we love you, we miss you, and can't wait to have you back. And anything else, Mr. Roy?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, hey, I was so glad that we were able to get this work. We had probably the most people we've had on a Chosen stream in quite a while. So, again, shout out to, of course, Igarita Rosetta Allen, to Mr. Roy, also to Laura, the Mono Major General, Story, who was able to be on with us today, and of course to Tina, who was able to jump on with us earlier today, and to Matt 317, he was able to join us. I know that he's got some work going on with family. To the K-Man, to K-Man's
family.
Mom, happy birthday, family. It's about family, exactly. You get it, family.
Yeah, that's the drain that's keeping me from finishing things. I mean, sorry.
I was gonna say it's the dream. It's the dream. Fast and Furious. It's the dream. It's the American dream that we all want to live up to.
I love them to pieces, but when you've got a family my size, there's always somebody needing something.
Shout out also to Father Luca, who was also in the chat. He had to celebrate Mass earlier, and so he was able to jump in just for a little bit. And to Miss Modern Muses, also a chosen member, and again continues to support. Hopefully we can get her on one of these days. But I think I got everybody. Racking my brain trying to make sure. Anyway, thank you everyone who watched today. Seriously, it's great. Alice McCarthy loves Fast and Furious, of course. However, at least I'm willing to say, all right, up until 6, and then after that, it kind of just goes crazy.
He needed to go back to that. He already had his positive one for the day. He needed to go back to bad taste.
Yes, this is true. We were thinking, oh, maybe he's turned a corner. No, he's still our same old terrible movie. Terrible movie reference.
And we still love him, even though he has no taste.
Of course. So shout out to everyone watching on YouTube. Kincaid Rumsky, who was hanging out over on Rumble, to Abomination, who was hanging out over on Odyssey. Thank you all for being here. Happy Play Doctor, thank you for that super chat earlier as well. And yeah, great month of April. Can't believe May is starting on Monday. It's insane that we're already this far in. So that means stay tuned to the website, ombreviewers.com, to the channel, to community tab, to the Discord, because I'll be trying to put my summer schedule out soon. Because I'm going to try to be doing my daily streams, my early streams, and we'll see what schedule I can think that will probably work out with this year. I was also looking ahead, this summer probably will be able to get to the Dallas meetup, the Friday Night Tights Dallas meetup, because I think we're doing that still, waiting for confirmation. And then there's going to be another event, maybe the next week or so, which will be in, I think it's North Carolina. So stay tuned to those things if you're in those areas. And again, shout out to the Chosen who were able to join today. So thank you all for being here. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Remember, no live stream tonight, as the Chosen stream is taking that. And I also, if you've been waiting on the podcast with John the Flicker Flickinger, I love my friend John, but unfortunately, he's terrible at scheduling. So we're supposed to be streaming, or rather, we're supposed to be recording tonight. However, I've heard that before. So I hope to get it recorded to put out for y'all by sometime either tonight or tomorrow. If not,
Damn, Odin threw him under the bus.
Oh, I've made references to this in other places, but I love John.
You're cold. That's just cold. You threw him under the bus.
No. He throws me under the bus when he doesn't show up. Anyway, thank you again. Stay tuned for that. And as always, God bless. And now for a huge special shout out to all of my Patreon Subscribe Star and Locals members who are at the Keeper of the Bifrost level and above. Starting off with Patreon with Father Luca Illick, Garrett Searles, Joe Horn, Jonathan Carney, Orange Hat Reviews, who you can check out over at his YouTube channel by the same name, Laura, the Modern Major General Story, Rosetta Allen, who you can check out at her YouTube channel at Eagle Writer, and Miss Modern Muses, who you can check out at her YouTube channel by the same name as well. To my Subscribe Star people, we got Matt317, check him out on his Twitch channel by the same name, Fast Reaction, The R, Mr. Roy, J-Rod the Beer Guru, and the K-Man, and you can check out the K-Man over at xtheboundaries.co. And lastly, to my Locals members, Miss Minnesota Hockey Fan, How About a Hockey Player, J.H. Schwalbach, Brett D90, and the amazing lawyer, Robert Barnes. If you want your name shouted out at the end of every video and live stream, check out the top link in the video description below to join the Keeper of the Bifrost level. You also get access to other things like a podcast that I do every month with John the Flickinger, and also I do giveaways for my Keeper of the Bifrost level people and above, and also my Chosen of Valhalla monthly stream. If any of that stuff sounds interesting, especially those giveaways, which I do give away 4K steelbooks, all kinds of stuff all month long, check out that top link. You're all amazing and beautiful people. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, a blessed Easter, and as always, God bless.